Okay,
Mark Thru podcast.
Welcome back to the Mark Thru. This is episode 16 with Blake Johnson. We've been wanting him to come on the show for so long. We're so thankful we were able to get him here. He came out to Colorado for the UCA V-Rock Masters up in Estes Park, and we dragged him back to our house and said, please, 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 and he's so excited to be on the show. So we too are so excited that you guys are here watching, listening, and enjoying another episode of the Mark Thru. Real quick, this episode is sponsored by Support Fund. Simple and effective fundraising for student groups. We've used them with County Cheer several times. Great results for our team's fundraising goals for the season, whether it's uniforms, competition, bus rides, new signs, whatever your goal is fundraising wise, Support Fund and their team is able to get you there with simple and effective fundraising through technology like text messaging and websites for coaches to be able to track the fundraising efforts of the team so far. So if you haven't heard of Support Fund, visit supportfund.com or check them out on social media at Support Fund. Thank you, Support Fund, for sponsoring episode 16. So like I said, Blake's here. We're talking about his great career in cheerleading across ACE, Kentucky, through choreography with V-Rock, his presence on TikTok. The man is a cheerleading legend. We're so excited. Make sure you guys watch end to end. This is going to be a great episode.
Music's on!
You ready for this? Who live is this? Who lit is this? Who real is this? We too legit. We are M-A-R-K-T-H-R-U Mark Thru podcast. Listen and learn, watch and observe. Challenging us, they got some nerve. He great. You mad? Don't hate. Get to it. Don't wait. We do not hesitate. We doing what it takes. What we do. Mark Thru.
All right. Episode 16. We're here. We have Blake here. Blake Johnson. Blake's been a longtime friend of ours throughout cheerleading, going way back to when we were cheerleaders.
Yeah.
This has been, I think, a long time coming. We've been texting you about it for 2 years. Like, hey,
It's hard to lock you down. Like you're traveling all over the world every day.
Yes.
So like it is.
Am I?
Yes.
Not every day.
I mean,
Girl, we're in the middle of a pandemic.
True, a Pandora. We're in the middle of a Panda
We're her
Express.
boss.
Yes. Yes.
Sorry. But yes, I travel a lot now. So.
Yeah. So it has been hard to lock you down.
Yeah.
Now we got you here.
Yes.
This is super exciting.
Yes.
I'm so pumped.
Me too.
Yeah, so we're here. We just finished day 4, final day at UCA V-Rock Masters up in Estes. Blake was there helping our team out as well as a bunch of other teams. I love that camp, just like being up, being away, taking the kids there. I mean, that's I think the biggest part of camp is just removing from the location. So I guess what is your favorite part of that camp? Colorado's Masters, I guess it's changed locations a few times.
Yeah, I think the reason why I enjoy coming out here is because how close the teams are to each other and the amount of talent that's in like this 20-mile radius. And it's not like an all-star team or, a club team. Like these kids, this is where they live. Their parents, they don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Their parents live in the zip code. And I think it's cool to just see the state and how cheerleading has like evolved over the last, I would say, 6-7 years out here.
Definitely.
And I think it's a powerhouse. So
Yes.
I want to make sure I'm in the middle of it. The mentality of the kids are different. Like skills that they thought were hard, 5-6 years ago are their basics now.
Yes.
Right.
So,
I had that thought earlier at camp. I was like, okay, we're an elite stunt class and they're teaching, hand in hands and stuff. And it's like, okay, great. My juniors and seniors, they're at that level. Some of our sophomores, but it's like, if you're an incoming freshman, like you haven't probably done all those, but the expectation now, like we're saying, the uplift is like.
And why is this hard for you?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be hard for you.
Right.
Do it
You
again.
should have those
But hit it this
core
time.
skills and that core technique and stuff to be able to.
Totally.
But then it's like, oh yeah, like you're brand new to this.
Yeah.
Like you haven't done that many elite things because you probably were an 8th grader who did club cheerleading or all-star and you were at a level appropriate.
Right.
And so it's definitely. It was an interesting kind of just realization in my head, like, oh, maybe I should be a little nicer, like, because I'm expecting high level immediately, but the competitive side of me says, sorry,
get some more rest.
That's why it's just a thought for you. You're like, I have that thought, but then I don't act on it.
Yeah. So, as we get started here, Blake, would you care to tell us how you got into cheerleading?
Oh, like from the beginning?
Yeah. What got you going?
What got me going?
Did you just start out of nowhere?
I said, did you start with All-Star? Did you start with gymnastics?
I'm trying to remember what show it was on ESPN that I saw. Like it was, I can't remember if it was All-Star or maybe it was the MTV
Nation.
Making a Cheerleader, or it was the Dunbar and Maid. It was New Rochelle, I think. And it was the MTV
Look it up.
New Rochelle episode of Cheerleading. True Life, I'm a Cheerleader.
True Life, yeah.
And
they had Made and then True Life.
Yeah, and then they were at Nationals, and I remember them doing this like pump move or whatever. But anyways, so
you felt the rhythm.
Yes. But down the road, there was this girl that lived down the road from me. Her name was Megan Smith, and I'm from the country. I don't know if y'all know, but I am from backwoods country,
Prattville, Alabama.
But I am Prattville, Alabama, but like.
The boonies of Prattville,
Yes,
Alabama?
like Autauga County out there, 40 acres in the mule type thing.
Okay.
Aren't you wearing a Gucci belt right now?
Yeah.
Wait, what? I'm so confused.
No, I am from the country.
Interesting.
Yes, my grandmother.
I am too.
Yeah, my
I am
grandmother
too.
lived next door. My cousins lived up the street.
I'm not wearing a Gucci belt.
Yeah, you're not wearing a belt at all, though. So.
But you got babies. I don't. Does you?
I can't afford a Gucci
Right,
belt right
the
now.
children,
Yes.
belt children. Pampers belt. What are you gonna do?
Sure.
But yeah, so Megan Smith, she lived even farther out in the country than I did, and she was cheering at a gym called Top Dog. My bad, not Top Gun. Top Dog Montgomery. And one day I went to practice with her, fell in love with it. So then I actually joined the team without my dad knowing. My mom and my Uncle Daniel and Jackie, my Aunt Jackie, knew. So I would leave football practice and I would go to cheer practice, and then I would come home on Mondays and Wednesdays. And
what did your dad think you were doing? Just like extra long football practice?
We just didn't talk about it. And this was for 3 or 4 months. This was a while, all summer long.
Wow.
Did he just not want you to do cheer, or was it just like a fear of the unknown, from everybody else?
I think so. And I was a really good football player. Very talented.
Don't ruin his path.
Yeah. And
that makes sense. You're an athlete.
And I'm the youngest of 4 boys. We all played sports.
And in a small town, it's every boy counts to the football team. Every boy counts for the baseball, basketball team.
So it was kind of like one of those things. He found out, and then he actually was my biggest fan, paid for cheerleading. Everything changed after that once he found out that I was cheering. And then he came to a competition and realized I was actually really good at it. Then from there, I did Top Dog for 2 years, and then my freshman year into high school, we have to you don't have to, but you choose a varsity sport. And I chose cheerleading. So at that point, there was no freshman to ever make my high school's varsity team.
Nice, okay.
But there's also never been a freshman boy that wanted to cheer. So I became the first freshman.
Both.
That's
to be on my varsity high school team at the time. And
just breaking down barriers.
yeah, so then I did top dog in my high school, and then that freshman year, Hunter Williams, a little girl that I used to babysit, she wanted to cheer at Ace, and I wanted to cheer at Ace. It was after Kenneth St. John did the "I Need a Hero" that dance, anyways.
Nice.
And so then I went to Ace, and that's how it started.
So now, where did you go to Ace Birmingham?
Ace Birmingham, the main location.
Gotcha.
At the time, it was the only location.
I was gonna say, back then there was only one. Yeah, they've just blown up.
Right.
Great branding, covering all of Alabama. And were they in Mississippi?
Mississippi and Georgia at the time.
In Georgia, okay, yeah. So they're just covering that whole.
Was that a commute for you?
Yes. So, that was. So after we decided we were going to do Ace, it was this whole Montgomery, Prattville, Auburn crew that all drove up. And the Hunter was the farthest. Her drive was 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Dang, okay.
And then it was a carpool.
Wow.
And we went like this. And and then she drove to Montgomery, picked up Sydney and Magoo, who cheered at Alabama.
Wow.
She was the first Montgomery exit. They drove down, picked up another group, and then another 2 girls, Lainey and Lucy and Mary. And then they drove past, and then 30 minutes past them, they would pick me up, and then we would go an hour and a half. Or if it was my time to drive, they would all get in my car, and then I would drive the rest of the way.
How many were you guys driving minivans or?
No, we had SUVs. Everyone, I had a little car, but we all fit. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tucked in.
That's
Or
so cool.
we love when Hunter's mom drove because she drove the whole way.
Nice.
So we did our homework.
How fun. Like, that had to be so fun, though, to, like, road trip and, like...
3 times a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 times a week.
3 times a week.
Your moms were probably like, do your homework.
Yeah.
3 hours in the car. Yeah, no, it was super fun. We love Miley Cyrus.
Yes.
And what was that? The Climb?
Yeah.
I don't know. What song? Who sings that?
It's the climb.
That's Miley.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's Miley.
we listened to that song so much.
Yeah.
Like, especially my junior year of high school, we listened to that song a lot. Was it junior, senior? Whenever it came
Yes,
out. But
yes.
we listened to it.
I guess going back to joining Ace and it being
Yes.
its only location at the time, were they expanding while you were there? Or did you get to watch that after?
Yes, they were expanding while I cheered.
Okay.
When I first got there, it was the one location, and I actually cheered at multiple locations throughout my time because we would help out other teams.
Sure.
Nice. Okay.
So
crossover.
yeah.
Well,
So when it was the I'm not going to say the exact locations how they came up.
Yeah.
But while I was at Ace, we had Ace of Birmingham, Ace of Atlanta, Ace of it's right on the border of Alabama. So they were expanding at the time, and I think it was trial and error, and they were taking people out of like the main location and sending them to other locations to run those. So it was kind of really cool because at the time people weren't really like franchising.
That's just been really interesting industry-wide, seeing the development of franchise gyms going, some are, like you're saying, they're sending one person or they try to, get a full new staff and they train them all. It's just interesting hearing from some of these larger multi-location gyms, like how they're doing it, the trial and errors they're facing and stuff to see like what works, what gets them to be a successful extension of the gym.
And I definitely think late 2000s, and then the early, teens of the 2000s, like a lot of gyms they were like trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
A lot of opening and closings of gyms, but I think the ones that are doing it well right now are doing it really well.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, they've primed themselves well.
Absolutely.
And it's really cool to see that like some new gyms can still like stick their foot in the door.
Right.
Like it's not like you better have started in 1998 or you can't be a gym.
Sorry,
like
you're not on.
It is hard though.
You can't catch up. So it's nice because like here in Colorado we've seen Steel kind of grow really well.
Yeah.
And
Cheer Central too.
Yeah.
Over the years,
Central,
they were like 8 years ago.
Totally.
That's true.
Yeah, so it's just nice that like as competitive as it is in some of these gyms that are like deep in it and are super successful, it's not impossible as long as you have good coaches, good environment, and also in a population to support it. I think that's the biggest thing. So
I think that's the coolest thing about the Ace brand as a whole, because these cities that they're in, these aren't huge metro cities like these other gyms.
Yeah.
I mean, Alabama's, Birmingham's, when I cheered, everyone in Alabama drove to Birmingham.
Sure.
Everyone to be on, Ace. And now the fact that there is Ace of Birmingham, Ace of Huntsville, which is an hour and a half away, Ace of the River Region, which is where I'm from, which is 2 hours away, Ace of Auburn, which is now 2.5 hours. Like, we all drove.
Yeah.
And the fact that these locations can survive.
They have.
And have full teams.
So, but
yeah,
I think that's kind of cool with the Ace brand, how these aren't major cities.
They're strong. Yeah, they carry a strong community. They carry a strong, like, I guess, message to the parents. Like, we're going to develop your kids.
100%.
We're going to do the right thing. And I don't ever think I've seen Ace or Happy or any of the staff in negative headlines. So I think they do provide a good culture, and they do. So now, were you coached by the legendary Happy Hooper?
I was.
Nice. Is he as legendary as his reputation?
Yes, he is. He is one Hooper Trooper, let me tell you. But yes, no, he is. In my eyes, he was life-changing for me, and it plays another role in my life. I'm still dear friends with him, but to see, me being knowing that I was quote unquote different in high school and growing up.
Yes.
In the
Sure.
gym that I was at before, where a heterosexual couple owned that gym, and then to see Happy and see him the success of cheerleading and an openly homosexual man running it. For me, I was like, I want to be that. I want.
Oh, sure.
He's
I looked up.
respected.
Yes,
Yeah.
I looked up to him. I wanted to be as good as he was. I wanted to the way he coached us was very passionate, and our assistant coaches were amazing too. But I mean, he was one hell of a coach. I will say that.
That's so
And
awesome.
and he loved, to this day, he loves us and puts so much energy into us.
So that's got to be very inspiring for you. Is that with that culture, is that why you're still involved with ACE as far as I know you do some of their choreography and things like that?
Yes. I mean, he's been, we're a group of best friends from ACE, but Happy has been a part of my life every step of the way from the moment I walked into his gym and to this day.
Yeah, it's
So
20
awesome.
years now.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I mean,
That's so special.
Yeah.
In our lives as well, great coaches stick with you. You know, people that you bond with, they understood you, you understood them, and they just stick with you.
Yeah, we talk about that all the time of just how would one of my favorite high school coaches handle that, or how would my college coach handle that, or maybe even in some situations where we're like, okay, I've seen this, I don't like how it was handled. Right. How should I handle it differently?
Right.
Type of a thing. So.
Well, or I was texting my coach Corey the other day about website stuff, and he was like, "Hey, how are you doing?" And I was like, "What's sleep? I don't know how you have 4 kids and coach a college team. I have 2 kids and I can't sleep coaching my high school team. I'm so busy." And he was like, "I don't know how I did it. It was a blur. Good luck."
Have fun.
Yeah, I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll survive. You survived. You know, his when I was on the team, his oldest was 1, and now his oldest will be a freshman in college this year.
Well, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Does that mean you're old?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that means.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
Long time ago. Long time ago.
Like,
1 to a freshman.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And now he's running track at KU. I was just watching diving with our kiddo. Flipping is what she said.
Yeah, she
Oh,
loves
yeah.
watching flip. She loves watching flip.
There was synchro diving, and they were like, both of these guys, it's really interesting. Both their parents were coaches throughout their entire life,
Okay.
but not their coaches. But it was just the announcers were kind of just talking about how the effect of having a coach in your life is, can propel you, even if it's not your sports coach. They just understand sports. So, man, coaches. Yeah. Shout out to the good coaches.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Love us.
Absolutely.
So obviously ACE was, a growing gym. It was, expanding and everything. On the opposite side of that, you said you were doing high school cheer.
I was.
Were you guys competitive? Was that just your local community?
Yeah, we were a competitive high school team too. We at the time, Miss Williams, which is another dear friend of mine and an amazing person and coach who touched my life in a special way. I still have my senior picture in her room, blown up like an 8x10 in her room. And I talked to her the other day. She's
so precious.
My high school was at the time, if y'all remember the show 2-A-Days.
Yep.
It was Hoover High School.
Yes.
Well, Prattville High School is where I went. We were the team that played them the first season that they beat, and the team that played them the last season that won. And then after that, we won state 3 years in a row. Our culture, at our school, was, just amazing. And, this is how our football team at the time, it was about 200 football players. There was JV cheerleaders, JV varsity co-ed, varsity co-ed, varsity all-girl. Mm-hmm. Our band had about 300 members in it. All the teachers that were, coaches and all of that. So on a game day, an away game, literally 750 people would stand up all at once and walk to the buses. That is how, deep we rolled. Our community was crazy. 20,000 people at a high school football game on Friday nights.
Yeah.
So I loved cheering in high school because it was I love where I'm from. I love travel. Like I'm obsessed with my parents.
And that was just a celebration of that.
Yes, and I was the youngest of 4 boys, all very talented, and I was the cheerleader.
Yeah.
And that's what people said. And I would do, every Friday night, I would flip from one end of the football field all the way down, and the whole stadium would count it.
Everybody's going nuts,
yes.
I'm sure.
And so cheering in high school was very special because I felt like that's when me and my dad's bond became closer, because everyone says, your boy's the cheerleader. Your boy's the cheerleader, you know, so I love cheering in high school.
I'm going to tear up. Yeah. That's so beautiful.
High school was awesome. And then my senior year, we competed at cheer sport. We won cheer sport all years that we were there. And then my senior year, we begged Miss Williams. We were like, we're ready. We can do UCA. We can do it.
Yeah.
Because at the time, Sparkman was the powerhouse of small co-ed.
Okay.
And, I mean, that team was just so talented, my high school team. And we were like, we can do it. And we went to nationals for our first time in, like, a very long time, 20 years or something. Yeah. And we got 3rd at nationals that year.
Love it.
So,
incredible.
And it's so crazy because that team, that high school team, those 20 people on the floor, from sophomores to seniors, went on every single person except, I want to say 4 or 5. So 15 people went to cheer in college.
Nice.
Awesome.
And they have some type of medal or ring from their college.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's an elite group.
Yeah.
That's an elite
y'all
group.
were focused. So you just led that into the next question. You guys were going to college to do cheerleading after. Jomo was the coach. Did you go to a ton of recruit clinics? Did Jomo chase you down?
No.
How did that all work?
No.
Because you were a stud. Like, you had the skills. Yeah. You were a co-ed boy with a full.
Yeah.
Like, that's, you weren't just doing toss hands. Mm-hmm. Like, you had skills. Like, you just said you went to nationals. You guys got 3rd. Like, you're not just doing walk chairs and toss hands to get 3rd. Like, you're doing libs. You're doing full ups. You're doing the real deal. So, I guess, how did that work for you, aligning with Kentucky and then ultimately ending up there?
So, I thought I wasn't going to cheer in college first.
Okay.
I thought I was going to FIT. I was moving to New York. I was getting into fashion.
Okay.
This is what I was doing. I visited New York.
You were like, I had my cheer career.
Yes. I thought I was done.
Okay.
And then I came back, and then that's when David McDowell was at Alabama. Mm-hmm. And I went to a couple Alabama like open gyms or whatnot, just because everyone from Ace, you went to Alabama,
come to the gym.
You go to Alabama, and so I went to a couple open gyms, and then one day, at the time, Kelly Dupree, who had just moved, graduated from Kentucky, moved. She was an Ace kid. Mm-hmm. She was like, we had an Erica as well, who also, they were on the show Cheerleader U.
Yep, okay.
Yes.
Erica, and I don't know if you know her story, she didn't make it, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. The cameras followed her.
Yeah.
Okay. She was from Alabama. And Eric and Kelly Dupree, they were both coaching at Ace at the time. So my senior year, so they're telling Jomo, like, Kelly was, playing around stunning her. And then my first year at Ace, Allie Greer was actually living in Alabama with her father at the time. So she was on Ace.
So you've known Allie before you cheered.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's why we have a really special relationship.
Now you guys did before, during, and now after with USA.
And we're still.
And do you do Western Kentucky Choreo? Do you help with that?
I do. I've been a part of Allie's every coaching job.
We're gonna be aligned.
Yeah, I've been with her from her All-Star gyms,
awesome.
everywhere. But back to the sex.
Yes,
Let's back it all up. Allie was at Kentucky at the time. Okay. It was her junior year.
Okay.
Nope, sophomore year. Sophomore year at Kentucky at the time. And she was like, you have to cheer Kentucky, And I was like, I'm not cheering. And then one day I come home and there's a varsity box on my front porch. I live out in the country, so, I don't know. Did we even have Amazon then?
And maybe it just was books.
Yeah.
Like, just books at the time.
And I definitely wasn't getting no book.
Yeah. I was like, I didn't even know Amazon only.
I mean, I didn't even know how to read until 6th grade. Come on. But, that's a whole other thing, guys. But,
wait, you're serious?
Oh, yeah, that's serious.
Oh, my. Okay, we'll get into that.
Yeah. Alabama doesn't have the best.
Wait a minute. You're right.
Got me in the first half, I'm not gonna lie.
So Allie was at Kentucky at the time.
Okay.
And I got home, and there was this varsity box on. At the time, I didn't know what it was a varsity box, whatever. It was right when they were actually developing the logo, so it was the old logo. It wasn't the scripted V's
like
that we have
2010, 2011 was when that came out.
And I opened it up, and it was a handwritten note from T. Lynn and Jomo that I still have framed in my office right now.
Wow.
A Kentucky warm-up, Kentucky practice clothes, all of this. So then, but I didn't really like, I wasn't like, I'm going to Kentucky.
Yeah, you didn't see yourself there.
Yeah, going there. And he invited me to practice in the note. Would love for you to come up to practice. So we set up a practice. I went up during 2-a-days during national season.
Nice.
And I don't know I'm sure y'all cheered in college, so you know how the community treats you guys.
Yes.
But there is a special way the schools can treat Kentucky cheerleaders when they walk in.
Yeah.
So during the practice that I was there, me and we drove up.
You with your dad?
Yes. So my dad and my uncle drove up to me. Not even my mom.
They're like, this is a D1 visit.
Yes.
Like, we've been waiting for years for this.
Yes. So we drove up to Kentucky, came into a practice, and I think at that, I don't think this was a moment for my dad, but I don't think he knew what Jomo looked like.
Okay.
Oh.
So when we walked in, the first thing my dad said, "Oh, that's a brother," because he didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't know that he was a dark skinned man. He didn't know he was black. So
Sure.
that, I feel like for my dad, it was just like, oh, well, So then that
you're
started
taken care of.
Yeah, that started our whole weekend. It was great. So then I
Sure.
followed them at practice. And then from the practice, they invited me to a performance.
Nice.
And they said I could wear the warm-up. So I had on their warm-up as I walked through this performance.
On a scale from 1 to 10, how awesome did you feel?
As a senior in high school, I was on cloud 9. You couldn't tell me anything. Like, I remember getting in the car crying. Like, it was magical. Like, this was a life-changing event for me.
I'm sure.
And then when I walked through, I forgot what middle school, but it was where they had a performance that night. So this is after the new year. So it had to be like that the end of the first week of January. We walked into this school, and the way the kids were like, and then walking through, and someone asked for my autograph, y'all. I thought it was just
like, screw fashion.
Yeah, I was like, I'm never going to New York. I whatever. So then, I remember on the drive home, I was like, Dad, I'm going to this school. I need to get my SAT scores, and I was just like, I'm going. This is where I belong. There is a sense of just like the energy in the room. I was like, this is where I should be. And then, and then T. Lynn, just the poise that the man had,
a class act through and through. I've met him maybe 3-4 times, and just always impressed.
And the way that he talked to my dad and made us feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And that is what, I just felt comfortable.
He's very fatherly to everybody. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're 19, if you're like your dad talking to him.
Yes. And when we drove home, I was like, I'm going. And my dad's like, I think it's the right decision, son. Let us know what you need to do. Blah, 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 blah. So we drove home, and I was like, I'm going to Kentucky. And they won that year. It was this back to the second year in a row after they lost. But anyways,
I was there for that.
Yes.
Not to derail the story, but that was the biggest crowd reaction I've ever heard at a competition to a stunt fall.
Yeah.
Because they were rocking that routine. It was awesome. And then that was it. She had her leg up, that hitch. And it just went off the back, and every person in the crowd gasped, I swear. But circling back to the Kentucky community, like you were saying, in middle school, that's something I think that's just known sports wide. It's just Kentucky fans are passionate about anybody wearing the blue and white.
100%.
If you live in Kentucky, you either love the blue or you love the red of Louisville. And
most are blue.
Most are blue. And in Blake's eyes, he's wearing blue tinted glasses.
Right, yeah.
It's
Yes.
fine.
Oh, it was all I saw.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so like I'm sure all those kids either wanted to be Kentucky cheerleaders or Kentucky basketball players, like
They just
one
thought it
or
was
the
so
other.
cool.
It's just like I want to be part of. I mean, like as a Kansas kid, that's
What you want it to be, right?
yeah. It's like I'm gonna be a Kansas basketball player. All right, I'm gonna be a Jayhawk. I'm gonna be. All right, I'm a
Ask him
cheerleader.
how
I'm a cheerleader.
I was gonna say, ask him how the basketball
Right,
thing turned
right.
out.
It doesn't help when you're 5 foot flat in
Yeah.
the 9th grade. You know,
Yeah.
nobody wants to in the
Wait,
ground.
did you cheer in high school?
Just senior year. I did
okay.
diving in high school.
Oh,
so,
you're a
yeah.
diver.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
we
body
won.
control.
We won a
Yes.
state championship.
Oh, you still have it up here.
Yeah. So you got your box. You
Yes.
did your visit.
Yes.
You were all in. Did you try? I'm sure you had to try out because tryouts still were a thing at the point.
Yeah, so after that, after I did the visit and they won nationals, I was doing multiple teams at the time. And then Mason Levy, he was his cheering at Ace on the open team with me. He was at Auburn in engineering school at the time, and he wanted to try to Kentucky.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of all the things like lined up, and he was already 20 years old. He was going to be my roommate. My parents were like, "Oh, you're moving in with, someone." I never lived in the dorms.
Gotcha.
So it was like
Okay.
everything was slowly just like
I
lining
didn't live
up.
in the dorms either.
Yeah, and then
Falling into place.
Yeah, and then my parents knew Mason. My family knew Mason.
Yeah.
So now he's like my brother. And then and we were driving up. I had someone to drive up to Kentucky with me.
Sure.
That was gonna try out at the time.
Tryouts,
Yep.
yeah.
So and then me and Mason went to the spring clinic.
Mm-hmm.
Then I came to tryouts and
Nice.
didn't know what I was doing because I was hanging out. Kelly Dupree was trying to help me, but at the time I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And Allie was like, "We'll figure it out when you get here. Figure out when you get here." And I was like, "Okay." They're like, "Just keep doing your thing."
Yeah.
And I struggled with mental blocks too. We
Okay.
can talk about that if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so throughout high school I struggled with mental blocks, and I would have to literally relearn my tumbling over and over and over. And during this time, I was struggling through a mental block.
Okay.
And my coach Tracy Blair, loved that woman. She was like, "It's okay, just take whatever you need, do whatever you need." So
And that's the best way to coach a mental block.
Yes.
Is
It's like-
love, not anger. It's
yeah,
tough.
yeah, it's hard.
But it's the best
you have to
path
understand.
forward.
Yeah.
And so me and Mason went up for tryouts, and I actually went up to tryouts alone. Like me and my parents didn't go. It was,
Okay.
Yeah, Mason because he's an adult,
Yeah.
And you're an adult
and
now.
now,
You're
yeah,
grown.
yes. We had choreography for Worlds for Warriors that year. It was, God, that was such a good year, y'all.
That was probably
Thinking
like a
back at
crazy
it.
spring from like January to all the way through to Worlds in May.
Yeah, it was really good.
I'm glad we can bring this all back.
Yeah,
to you.
like it
I'm
was.
so glad that we can do this for
09
you.
was a great year. Like
I
it was
agree.
a life.
Wait, that's the year you graduated
I
high
did.
school. I didn't know you were this.
Yes. Yeah.
So awesome.
And then we it's time for tryouts. We go to tryouts, and then I get there, and Kelly Dupree did my cheer. So we had already knew what I was doing for my cheer. Had no clue what the other two skills were. Had no clue what tryouts were.
Okay.
No
Gotcha.
clue. When I got there, and they
And then they're like, wear khakis,
Yeah.
and a belt,
Mhm.
and a polo
Yeah.
tucked in,
Mhm.
and now go do your tumbling.
100.
And
Yeah. Yes.
So the girls, they have to show up and they have to wear.
a tennis skirt,
Yeah.
sash, leotard, and bow, lips.
Is
Curls
there
hair.
is there a store for this? Like we're like, if you show up and you're like, I don't own a leotard.
Yeah, you go buy one.
You don't show up with that
You-
one. You show
but-
up with one.
Yeah, but because you have to get invited for tryouts, so
Yeah.
you've already went through. So you have to come to a tryout at the time.
You
You have
already
to come
showed
to
you
a
wanted.
tryout clinic,
Okay.
and then you got invited
Okay.
to try out after the tryout clinic.
Okay.
So you already, and then during the tryout clinic, they tell you what you need for tryouts.
Okay.
So you already kind of know what the image is, what you need to do. So you would come with it.
I just really love that tradition of Kentucky tryouts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I just think that's a cool thing.
Outside of what are those big things that Texas schools do for homecoming?
Mums.
Yeah, the mums.
Outside of that, that's probably the most southern thing. Like
Yeah, I would
just
say.
like the sash, the skirt, like the whole look,
Yeah.
the matching thing, like a very like southern tradition thing. For some reason, it stuck around. Yeah. So tryouts obviously went well. You
Yeah.
made the team.
Yeah, it was a great tryout.
Thinking back to, I guess, the start of freshman year, because we went to camp at the same time up
yeah.
in Wisconsin. What was that like, just like joining the tradition of Kentucky? Like, obviously you were excited, you knew it was the program for you, you were ready to go.
Where are we at right now? Where are we?
Let's say it's like June 2009.
June 2009.
Like, you just graduated, you'd already made the team.
Had some great things happen before that, June. But,
yeah, how'd Worlds go?
Oh, we got third.
Okay.
Yeah.
You felt like you won.
Because it was a week after I made Kentucky. Then I came back, I learned the new choreography, and got third at Worlds. It was awesome.
Beautiful.
I'm going to be completely honest, and this is my experience, and these are people that I love dearly to this day, being that I cried a lot June 2009. A lot of tears. At our first practices, it was a lot.
That's so relatable.
It was...
Freshman year is intense.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
a steep curve.
It was a lot. I can remember me, Olivia, Lindsay, and then Rob and Ryan got pulled up during that set of practices. And we were the only newbies on the team that year. You know, we all came in, and then everyone... Up until this time, Kentucky was a very seasoned team, meaning the guys went and cheered somewhere else, and now they're on their third year.
Group, Rob was the only one.
Yes. And same thing with the girls. Like, the girls weren't leaving like they were at the time, and for 2 freshmen to come in and make it, and not just one, it was just a very big, not quote unquote turnover. It was just a lot of us on the team.
Yeah.
And
when at the time, I can't remember if it's been changed or not, but there's only 7 girls on a
Yes,
co-ed team, so it's like that's a tiny amount of people.
Yes. At tryouts that year, it was 7 and 7. That was called 7 girls, 7 boys.
Wow.
That was called at that tryouts, and so yeah. And I can remember our first set of practices. Everything outside of the gym was amazing. The people, everything. But I can remember feeling like I will never be as good as anyone else around me.
These were grown adults.
Yeah, I would never.
Like you said, seasoned.
Yes,
yeah.
seasoned athletes. And the standard that they held us, they not once did they treat us like we didn't know what we were doing. And we didn't understand why.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't understand why, but it was just a standard that they held to us, and we would leave and we would cry because we were like, I stepped on this, I dropped this, I did this, but they just treated us like one of them.
Yeah.
They treated us no different.
Yeah.
And so that first set of 2-a-days of practicing in June, I cried a lot of tears.
It was intense.
A lot of tears.
All right, yeah.
But we worked really hard, but a lot of tears.
Yeah.
Those college practice weeks, weekends, man, they can get you.
Yeah, a lot of tears.
Yeah.
A lot of tears.
A lot of tears. I didn't even know I cried. Like, tears.
Yeah.
At
But
least you probably
it
didn't get the
changed.
nickname Crybaby.
Oh, I didn't cry in front of anyone.
I tried not to, but Tony Nash is ruthless, so
Well.
I guess I shouldn't have.
You shouldn't have.
It's, you want to suck those tears
Suck
back
them
in. You're
back
like,
in.
I'm not tearing up. He's like, you crying again, Crybaby? No, sir. No, sir.
No, sir.
You just called me Crybaby.
Right.
Again.
Now I'm definitely going to start crying.
It's like, once you start, you can't stop.
Right.
I can't say
Thank you, Mr. Nash.
cried.
Yeah.
But
You didn't cry?
I can't say I cried, but I definitely, like, that first week, I definitely felt like I was in over my head.
Right.
Because it was like, there were guys on the team that were like 25.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there were guys on the team that were 275 pounds that were like this wide.
Yeah.
And I came in at like 130 pounds, and I was just like, hey, I can do back tuck.
Yeah.
I was on the diving
I get
team.
back to.
Hey.
Yeah.
And they're like, cool. Nobody else can. Because these guys are huge. They just found them at the gym. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I can definitely relate to that. Just,
Wait, we have a connection. Because you cheer with Jeff Johnson.
Yes.
Okay, so which is one of my dearest friends now.
Yeah.
But when I tried out for Kentucky, I stayed at Jeff's house.
Okay.
Me and Mason bunked at Jeff's house.
Nice,
And
okay.
He
Because he had come the year before.
the year before from Kansas. Him and Adam.
Adam, yes.
Adam from Kansas.
yes,
and,
Adam.
But yeah,
Yeah,
so
Adam
but you
did
cheer with
one
Jeff,
year.
right?
Yeah, I cheer with both of them. Yeah.
Crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah. But
That is crazy.
Small
yeah,
world.
I just thought of that. We have to bring that connection back up because it's the reason why I'm where I am right now is that between that connection.
Okay.
So remember that connection.
Well, and like you're talking about, I remember hearing from Jeff when he had transferred. You know, he made Kentucky, and we were excited for him, and everything like that. And we were like, you know, how's it going? And he was like, this is intense. Right. He's like, I think I've only done libs for the last 4 months. Yeah. He's like, because they want me to perfect it.
Yep.
And he's like, for some reason I can't get the grip right. Yeah, and you know, I'm just hearing that, and I'm like, you got to do the right grip. Like, you want to be on Kentucky, you got to do it right every single time.
Yes.
Like that, I think that reputation is just well known. That, like you said, that standard of you got to do it. You have to do it right. You have to work hard.
Yeah. And if you're going to do it, you're going to do it right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, because you're not going to get credit for just doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyone can just do it.
Thinking back to camp at Milwaukee, Wisconsin, outside of the no air conditioning.
Yes.
Highlights, lowlights of being at that camp, because it's not a camp anymore. And
it's not a camp.
I know many people miss it.
And it was the best. That is when the tears stopped.
Okay.
It was probably my first camp was one of the best experiences of my life.
Okay.
Because it was the first time that I was, you know, being part of this program, and I was with other cheerleaders now, you know, not just fans.
Yep.
And for, you know, and it was the way that we interact with each other, and now we're all adults, and just, and not just like all the programs that were there, like there was just these big prestigious programs, and not just competitive programs, like big collegiate
names that you've heard
yes,
on ESPN, you see in the newspaper,
and just seeing us all out there. I mean, my favorite part of the camp was where we went down on the lake.
The lakeside, yeah.
Yeah, we did all the competitions, and that was my favorite. That was
like
my favorite.
basket class, and then into Man Olympics.
Yeah, Man Olympics,
and then the girls would go dance.
Do a dance or something,
Yeah, it was always
you have
silly.
You have so many pictures.
From the lake.
That. Yes, from the lake.
Oh, yeah, it was like, we're going to the lake, make sure your camera's charged. Yeah. And yes, we had to charge our cameras. They were not in our phone.
Yes.
Yes. But when you and I
Wait,
first
did they even have iPhones then?
No.
I think they'd just come out.
I don't think so. You had that.
Sidekick.
You had the sidekick.
And I remember having a BlackBerry. I had a BlackBerry.
I had a BlackBerry. When Scott and I met, he had this sidekick. I remember it was orange.
07.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
just everyone didn't have it.
Yeah, it wasn't synonymous.
Yeah.
I mean,
synonymous.
We didn't have.
Synonymous.
His brain is so big.
How did that just come up? Synonymous.
His head.
Yeah. So camp. So yeah. And I loved one of my favorite things, and to this day, was the circle, Kentucky's circle at stunt class.
Yes.
I thought that was
always so envious.
The coolest.
Oh, you have no idea how cool it actually was from the outside.
I love that.
So tell us a little bit about the stunt circle. Obviously, you're fangirling right now, but like, tell us a little bit about it.
This isn't the stunt circle you're thinking.
That's why I want to know.
Yeah. So we, at stunt class, because before, this is why our practices up to this point was so hard, because we did every single stunt imagine, from pull up torch, toss this, all of this.
And 2 counts.
And 2 counts. Every single stunt was to a count. Sure. And that is why practices were so hard.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't realize it at the time, right? Because I'm a freshman. I've never been to camp.
Yeah.
I'm coming in. I don't know why we're doing this. And we're not in the circle at this point. We're in straight lines.
And no one's telling you. No one's like, hey, this is why we're doing this.
Yes.
Like, you're just expected to do it.
Yeah, and they're telling us about our grips and stepping and don't move and don't step.
And for the time, also, it was in the lines, that's training for taping.
Yeah. Well, again, something I didn't know about.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like, that's how aligned Jumbo had you guys from day one in June to the focus is going to be success.
And it was, so then we get to camp now, and as we learn, just like at any UCA camp or summer camp, we go, they teach you a set of skills, and then you go and you practice them, right? Well, we got in this big circle, and at the time I think it was 10 couples in a circle, and everything was to account because we've already done everything they told us to do. So it was literally 1, 3, shrug, 5, grab, 7, 1, 3, hit those steps.
And every other team around them is like one-offs or 2 groups that are spotting each other, and like people are hitting the ground. Like a normal stunt class, like people are going through the motions
Like
of
a normal
learning.
stunt class.
Yeah.
And
In Kentucky's just flex.
yeah. And at this point, we've been practicing in the line, right? So
Yeah.
you haven't seen everyone.
Ah.
So now you're seeing no one take steps. So now, even if I wanted to, I'm not taking a step.
Nope.
Because I can see now what everyone else looks like.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
at that point, it was just like, and then when you look around and everyone's looking at you, it was a moment of like, this is why they did. This is why I went through
They came
hell.
full circle.
Yeah, the last 2 months. And this is why, and even the girls, I remember us talking about it, and we were like, well, I'm glad we did. I'm glad we were prepared. I remember us saying stuff like that.
Yes.
But the stunt circle was just, I thought that was just a really cool moment for
It's
me.
iconic.
It was very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it in
As
perspective.
cool as you felt,
Yeah.
clearly it was way cooler for everybody else
It was cool.
watching.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. And it's also just good to hear the hard work you guys put in before camp.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of teams are just like, okay, summer, here's some challenges. Okay, we're going to camp.
Right.
I know our team hates us because we have work week leading up to camp
Mm-hmm.
because we don't want them showing up at camp like.
You want them
Raw.
to enjoy
Raw.
their time, right? You want them to have a good experience.
But I can't tell you how many thank yous we get night one when
Mm-hmm.
they're like, wow, okay, we were ready
Right.
for camp. So that's just a
A
good
reassurance.
reassurance that we're doing it right.
Wait, what was your favorite part of camp?
Outside of doing the cheer things, that dorm, how
Yeah.
they had the 2
Oh,
levels.
yes, in the
They had like their own little community.
Yes,
so it was
yes.
like, it was these big tower dorms, but you'd go to the 9th floor and
it
you
was-
get off the elevator and it had
this is-
rooms all around, but it had a little living room and then it had a
it
spiral
was a courtyard.
staircase.
Yeah, it was like right in the middle.
And then there were rooms above that overlooked the balcony, and they would group cheer and dance in
Of
those
each program, yeah.
And so it was just so awesome because
That's so fun.
Yeah.
everyone was hanging out. It was like our floor, and so that said, there was no AC in that dorm.
It was no AC
and
in
we
that
were
dorm.
there the first week of August in
Yeah.
Wisconsin. So it was just
And
huge.
we took over Wisconsin. We took over that campus.
Yeah.
We took over that city.
Yeah.
It was
We
actually
were
really cool.
Yeah.
We used both dorm towers. We used the soccer fields, the grass fields, the gym,
Yeah,
and then
everything.
we'd bus over to the lake. We'd ruin a whole bunch of people's
Right.
evening because we'd take up the
whole
whole
lake.
grass field. We'd bring speakers and stages, and
That's
yeah,
so
it was a
fun.
great camp. Now they have it at Chula. That's also a great camp, but
It's just not Milwaukee.
it doesn't have the Milwaukee because, like, you were older, you got to go out
Right,
around the
yeah,
town.
yeah, it was
That was
Milwaukee.
fun. Yeah, this is a college town, so
Yep,
you were
that is
college
fun.
kids. That was good. But doing stuff at camp, I think the stunt competition was my favorite. Like,
Oh, I did.
I got
last
to
year.
perform. I got to do a stunt in it
Yeah.
once, and that was just so awesome.
Yeah.
But just the 3 years prior, when I got to watch it all, the intensity that each class has
Yes.
to fight each other,
Right.
and then the staff going crazy with the shirts and the palms, and then being crude with the signs.
Right.
Glorious,
Yeah.
just glorious. I'm
college
pretty
camp.
It
sure
was great.
Yeah.
probably all of that's not allowed anymore.
Yeah, right. Pretty sure.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite part of.
And I did the
Doing
Dells. I
camp.
was still I was still there when we moved it to the Dells, so I did both.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I still love Milwaukee.
I only went to the Dells when I was working for varsity, so I got to go the first year. We got to fly on the varsity plane to check it out. We got to ride on Cheer Force One.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We don't tell a lot of people
Yeah,
that
that's
because I'm like almost like embarrassed, but also like we gotta be on first. Like,
Yeah, we were like, I think we're gonna. I was telling Celie this, and I was like, I think we're gonna drive up and see our friends at the Missouri State
Our
camp
teams
this
were
weekend.
there.
Yeah, both
Yeah.
our teams were there, and he was like, "Well, I was gonna swing by this weekend too. You guys want to come with me?" And I was like, you're driving? He's like, "Oh,
Absolutely
I'm
not.
taking the plane up to Wisconsin. I got to do a site check at the Dells,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna come back down to Missouri State. And yeah, you guys can come with
Like,
me."
why not?
He's like, "Just meet on Saturday at 8 a.m. at this little airport."
it
And
was
we were
so
like,
casual, and I was
Yeah.
like, "What do we wear? What are we doing? A site check? Like, do I need to wear a dress? Like, what the? So casual."
Yeah.
I actually forgot that we did that with Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
And Mackenzie, his daughter, she came.
And
with too.
Mackenzie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, those planes go so fast. We left
I
Memphis
archived that
at
one.
8 a.m., went to Wisconsin to the Dells, like landed 15 minutes away.
Yeah.
They picked us up. We did the site inspection, had lunch. We flew to Missouri. We went to the camp for 2 hours, had
got-
dinner,
we had
and then flew to
Culver's.
Memphis,
Oh.
and we were home by 7.
Wow.
It was awesome.
Like, But yeah, the Dells, just a great location. Also a cool town.
Yeah,
Like, just
yeah.
The Chula location, making it a little
it
further.
does,
You can't like go walk and
That's a great lunch.
yeah, it's a great lunch.
This is great. It's a great day.
It was. It's a really nice lunch.
So, kind of going further into your Kentucky career, obviously
Yes.
camp was great. Football is always fun on the bluegrass. Basketball is
It's amazing, life-changing.
legendary.
Arena is life-changing.
Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky, Kansas.
That's
Just
on field house.
those buildings, the people that fill them, it's just pure magic.
100%.
Something about all of those big arenas you're speaking of, though, like those places, you were like life changing,
Yeah.
absolutely life changing. Especially cheering those games, you were like, wow, greatest experience of your lives. Those places, yes.
We have a picture just like that too.
Yeah.
Yes, you do, because it was like your cover photo for like a really long
Yeah.
time. But those places are not only super iconic while they're filled with people, but like they're also like almost kind of haunting when you step into them empty.
Hallowed grounds.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Yes.
It's so awesome.
And like being an athlete there, you do get to walk into those
Yeah.
places when it's
Yes.
quiet
Yes.
and it's empty. The lights haven't been turned on, and you just get to soak in it.
Yeah.
All the,
you can feel it.
all
You
the
can,
athletic
energy.
glory.
Yeah.
Just all of it. What was your favorite game that you cheered? I'm sure game day came
Freshman year or
throughout your time
Anytime.
in Kentucky. Like, I'm sure there's
oh.
one home game or one travel game, because I know you guys traveled just like we did to like NCAA postseason.
it would definitely be the tournaments, the basketball tournament. We
Definitely.
went to New Orleans. What was that, 12?
Yep, that was 12.
Is that when we won?
That was when you won.
And we won NCAA.
Because
And we
I drove there because it was on my birthday. And
Oh.
you guys played Kansas and
Yeah.
we lost, and it was the saddest birthday.
yes. Yeah.
yeah, he was in the stands for that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, it's just down there. My friends are cheering. I'm
Yeah,
gonna go sleep
why
on
not?
their floor.
Yeah.
Like I only have to buy a ticket.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm going.
That game, no, we played Louisville that year. Did we
Okay.
beat Louisville before you guys?
I think you may
Yeah,
have in
Louisville
in
was
the final four.
Yeah, and then but yeah, that was it was amazing.
Yeah.
Like that whole like March Madness,
2008 when
Yeah.
we won
Yeah.
in San Antonio.
and it was so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That
The
feeling.
streamers.
Yes.
One shining moment.
And you feel like I was a part of that team.
You're
I
fully
was
a part of that.
100% a part of that
Did you guys
team.
go
Yes.
to the team hotel and hang out
Oh
afterwards?
yes, I was.
Yes, exactly.
I was a part. We were embedded in that team.
Yes.
But yeah, that March Madness was crazy.
So you're at Kentucky,
Yeah.
loving life, cheering games, cheering, I guess football, basketball, volleyball, all the things
Yeah.
like colleges. Obviously, competition at Kentucky is the long-term focus. It's the end game. Did you guys win all 4 years that you were there?
We did not, and I was there 5th year because we didn't.
Okay, so that was was it your senior year, and that was motivation for year
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't make Matt my first year, so
Yeah.
I stayed for a fifth, so I could
Got
get
it,
my
yeah.
4 years on Matt.
Yeah.
Okay. So
You still got another year of eligibility.
You can do
which
it. Bring it back.
year was your favorite to win? I guess which routine to perform. I guess I shouldn't say the winning side of it because
okay.
you don't have a say in the
Yeah,
score.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
doing the skills and doing the routine with
If you would have asked me that before that 5th year, I would have said my first time. My
Okay.
first.
So 2010 Nationals.
Yeah,
Okay.
2010's Nationals was. I didn't understand it. Now looking back, there was no doubt in my mind that we were not hitting.
Okay, yeah. You guys were.
It was
that was my
yeah,
last year on the mat there.
there wasn't a doubt, and it was that feeling of because that was my first time in my athletic career where I truly felt 100% prepared.
Yeah.
Like there's like it is we're doing nothing different than what we normally do.
Yeah.
Just let's do it again.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the
You
guys
guys have
again.
you guys always had
seasoned.
so many reps
Yeah.
before, and then the season side of it helps.
Yeah,
so
and
much.
we believe in reps. I mean, that is how they coach. That is what they coach.
Numbers game.
I mean, I preach it to today. If someone's going to do 10 reps, I'm doing 100.
Yes.
I'm doing 10 times more. I'm going to have 10 times more, chance, a
Yeah,
better
if,
chance.
If you hit them 7
Yeah.
out of 10, well, guess
Yeah.
what? I'm gonna hit them 75 out of 100,
Right.
and my average is gonna be better.
100%.
Yes,
reps,
exactly.
reps.
Yeah.
So,
That's how we coach as well.
Yeah, we catch a lot of.
but 2014 was I came back from my Achilles surgery when I tore my Achilles,
Okay.
At tryouts.
Okay.
So it was a big tryout too, because this was a big turnover year. Because 2013, it was the year that we lost. It was a very
people were making decisions
Yes.
based on
Yes.
feelings.
Mhm.
Yes.
And that was the year that was the first or second year that a lot of us decided we were going to do a fifth year. Like everyone was leaving. The girls left. Only the guys stayed. We're like, and I was like, okay, we're trying out. I'm going to try out, whatever. And Jomo wanted me to try out. I wanted to be a coach. I wanted to be a student coach, and I wanted to, finish out my degree and coach a year or whatever. Joe was like, no, you're on the team. I said, all right, I'm trying out.
Like, I need your year.
Yeah. So at that tryout, everyone was like, whip punch full, all of this. I was like, okay, I guess I'll do it too, whatever. So the night before tryouts, we were warming up at the gym or whatever, and I was doing a bounding skill. Popped.
Ooh.
The night before tryouts.
Did I do the classic roll up?
Oh yeah, it was up. It was up here. I finished the skill, landed on one leg.
Okay, all right. I see.
And but then I remember the only thing in my mind were all of those girls that the night before their first Kentucky tryout.
That you were doing their stunts.
This is Whitney Agee. This is Megan Glisson. All I can remember is like looking at those girls like, I hope I didn't mess up. And knowing that they're, we're going to do well, but I was just remembered talking about their experience. Because now they're not going to have the tryout experience I had my freshman year.
Yeah. So that was your motivation and fire going in later in the season.
So I
rehabbed and everything.
Oh, I rehabbed like no other. If they told me to do 100 like half raises, I did 1,000. Yeah, so just the rehabbing and everything, and then coming back that year and being on the other side. So I ended up actually like kind of coaching
throughout that summer.
Yeah, because I was just sitting there watching,
Joe was probably like,
yeah, right.
You planned it.
Yeah. So and then I came back like right before national season, and it was game on
redemption.
It was full force. It was a big turnover at Kentucky at the time, like a big just program turnover. A lot of seniors graduated, and we got a lot of new fresh talent. And I think coming back and cheering that year, developing that routine, the way the routine was developed, the attitude towards the process, but it was we just dove so deep mentally to a level that I felt the performance just was one of the best Kentucky performances in, I think, ever.
Yeah.
Because of the connection of the routine with the athletes and the process that was within that year. It was a special year.
That's beautiful.
And I think during those years too, my years at Kentucky, our routine style changed. We were still Kentucky, but we were a little bit faster, a little bit quicker. We didn't run as much. Our transitions made sense. They had purpose. It wasn't just moving from skill to skill. We really tried to be innovative and blending, sections, tumbling runs into this and that. And that was the year 14 was the year the girls did the pikes, and we really were in it.
That was so
It was just
cool.
such an innovative year, and I felt like all of that work up to that point, we just were the pace and the speed and everything. It was amazing.
How much input did you get in your own college routine?
We developed our own routines, and
that's beautiful.
And I think that is one of the reasons why the connection with the routine is so beautiful. Of course, Jomo had the final say.
Yeah.
And he had his ideas and his purpose and his process that we didn't question.
He was give me skills for the template. For the structure. The outer structure.
But it was very much. That's why 13 was a hard one for me. But it was very much we developed our routines and the connections and how they flow. And he was very he allowed us that ownership.
Yeah, I was gonna say when you're some of the best athletes in the country and you come all together to one university and then you get to kind of that's just a very special thing.
I would really say 2011 and 12 with Rob, me and Rob, we balance, yin and yang. We like really balanced each other when it came to like creativity. So through those years, it was a lot of like, we would be like, can we do this? Can we try this?
At that point, were you thinking choreography was the move career-wise after?
No, I was still, I first went to school for interior design, which I still love, and I was a horrible student, so I could not handle that schedule of like studio time and stuff like that. So it was the design side of interior design, which is what a lot of people don't realize that is, you know, almost an architect, but, you know, interior. So just studio hours and all of that. So I moved on to fashion merchandising, and that's where I finished my degree with. And I thought, again, I was going to New York.
Okay.
I thought I was moving, like,
we're going back to New York.
Yes, I'm going back to New York. I am working in fashion. This is what I'm going to do. Like,
done wearing blue.
Yes. I am done. Like, I am going to work in fashion.
Yeah.
Even though choreography paid my way all the way through college. It was my career through college.
Yeah.
But I thought I was going to go. I literally thought I was going to be a buyer, an international buyer from the Macy's or something. I thought
fashion
that
houses,
I was going to be working in fashion.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what flipped the switch when you were done? Like, was it a person or an opportunity, or was it just timing sake?
It was, oh God, I guess it's a hard question to answer without telling the story of how I got there.
By all means.
If that makes sense. So out of high school, I started doing choreography in high school.
Yeah.
I would do the home poems of all of the schools in our area. So
Nice.
I literally, in high school, I was getting these checks to do choreography. So I remember my senior UCA camp, I was at camp as a camper, going around to high schools counting 5, 6, and the UCA staff's like, who is this guy? Like, what are you doing? But I did like...
But you had already worked with them.
Yes,
so
I did like
it's
7
not
home
you were just
homes.
being annoying
Yeah.
at camp. Like, those were your customers.
Yes, they're, as a kid. I'm 17, 18 years old right now doing choreography.
Amazing.
So...
And that's the beauty of choreography and cheerleading is like it's referral based.
100%.
So like, you get one, they say, oh,
You
talk
do
to
it.
Blake,
Yes.
see if he has any availability.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And back then I was like, this is a lot of money, you know? Oh my gosh. So then bringing it back to you. So Jeff Johnson was working for a guy named Ryan Megg at the time. He owned a company called Point and Center.
Okay.
And me and Ryan are dear friends right now, to this day. He's a dear friend of mine. So Jeff, right after I made Kentucky, I was like, I really want to do, I don't have summer plans, like, I want to do choreography. He's like, well, I work for this company, Point and Center. I'll tell Ryan, you're awesome, you can do it, blah, blah, blah. So I made Kentucky on that Sunday.
The beautiful 2009 spring.
This is spring of 2009. Yes. I made Kentucky on that Sunday night. That Monday, Jeff Johnson calls Ryan Meggs. Ryan Megg hires me on the spot. If Jeff says yes, you're coming. So I go back home. I have Worlds, 2 more weeks of school, and then I graduate. Ryan got all my paperwork to work for Ryan Megg, skipped my senior cruise that my parents paid for, did not go to a graduation night, did not go to one graduation party, didn't do anything. I literally left graduation night, drove to Atlanta, and I got on a flight the next morning. I actually missed my flight. It was the first flight I've ever missed, and the first time I've ever flown alone, to go to staff training with Ryan Megg. And that summer, I worked for Point and Center, and that's when I worked with the programs of Crimson Heat, Fire and Ice, and some other programs that I still work with.
Illinois programs, right?
No, this is Crimson Heat's out of D.C.
Okay, out of D.C.
And yes, and Fire and Ice is out of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So I followed Ryan Megg.
So you were kind of like traveling
with him as his assistant, and me and Santuan at the time, we were just bouncing around doing all this choreography, following them, working for a choreography company. Had no clue, but developing all these skills, whatnot. The next year, Ryan sold his company, and there's some legal issues that happened. So now all of a sudden, I'm a 19-year-old kid, and these all-star gyms are calling me to come do their choreography. And I'm like, okay, how do I do this? What do I do? So I went and did it. Me and Santuan got up on the road that summer. We didn't know what we were doing at the time.
Sure.
We were just going to
You guys need a routine.
Yes,
Yeah,
going to do
yeah.
choreography. They call us. They flew us in. They did this. What a lot of missing paychecks that we didn't get, but that's okay.
Yeah.
God bless them. But
Hope their small gyms are prospering now and they're paying now.
Right.
But and to this day, because of that, there's gyms that I've worked with now 13 years later, 12 years later, that
they're
are still
loyal to
my
you, you're
customers
loyal to
because
them,
of that. And so all the way through, I literally gave my parents back their car as a gift one time and bought my own car when I was in college. I paid for every bill I did choreography all the way through college.
You worked through college.
That was my career. I worked 3 months out of the year, went to school 3 months out of the year.
And then you still were like, I'm going to do fashion.
Yes. And I was convinced.
Yeah.
Convinced I'm doing fashion. Well, I got to take it back. So now this is 2010, fall of 2010. I get a call from Sherry Cooney or an email from Sherry Cooney, telling me about this V-Rock thing. And I'm like, what is this V-Rock thing? V-Rock, what is this? And then that spring, I went to V-Rock training, and it was Tony Nash,
It was
Craig,
only like 6
Greg
of y'all.
Monty, Hank Lights, Josh McCurdy, Matt Godo, Sherry Cooney. We were the 6 that were at that training.
Varsity, remarkable original choreography. That's what it
Yeah,
was.
and there's people before that, the originals, but
It was trying to. They were trying to get some traction.
Yeah.
I
And they
remember
asked me
that.
to do routines for them or whatever, and I was like, yeah, I love that. So I went to training.
I had to redo the website. That's why.
Oh, right, yeah. And did some routines, and that's when I was like, okay. So then I was doing my own stuff on the All-Star side, building a brand over there at the time, just whatever. And then I was doing these high school routines on the V-Rock side.
Yeah.
And then Jeff Siegel in Chicago, Camp Jeff,
Yeah.
Chicago. Most of the Kentucky cheerleaders were Camp Jeff during the summers. And y'all know he sends a lot of Kansas cheerleaders.
Yeah,
he's
he's
die hard. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
and then for those that don't know, Illinois high school cheerleading is very remote. It's like an island.
But
having their own camps and
Yes.
stuff is key to their own success.
100%.
And teams see the value in that.
Yes, and that was the success of speed camps.
Yes.
And so so then I developed this little pocket of Illinois of these high school programs where I did JV, varsity, and freshman team. I did everything from
Program wide.
creative director, from their homecoming routines to their
So
pep
more
rally
than
routines
just
to their
state.
Yes, and I would do all routines for 3 programs. So I'm doing that. So I have the V-Rock stuff, my All-Star stuff, and
Camp Jeff.
Camp Jeff. It's the customer student Camp Jeff, not Camp Jeff. Just want to make that clear. Love you, Jeff Siegel. So So then that year is when they asked me, V-Rock asked me to go full time.
Okay.
And that's when I got that offer the fall of 14. And that's when I was like, yeah, let's do it. And that's when I was like, okay, this is my full time
job.
Yeah. So my last semester of college, I was working full time because I was finishing up working full time. And then also now all of my friends that are now graduated that year with Kentucky are now coaching at All-Star programs, doing their programs. So now Allie and Jeremy are asking me to come down and do Gyms of Champions. Rob is coaching at World Cup. So now I got my foot into World Cup. And then now I had friends that were at Stingray. So I was going, so it's I was slowly starting to build a career out of it. It became a thing.
Yeah.
Fall of 13, it was okay, I think this is my career. I'm not, even though I went to Fashion Week that year.
Yeah.
And I went to little calls that they had, and I was I'm going to work, all of that stuff that.
Were you there with Olivia Rink?
No. Liv at this point was still in Lexington.
Okay.
She was doing her wedding shop.
She was she was in Lexington, and then she was in Utah.
Okay. Cool.
But Liv, speaking of Liv, sorry, can I get off topic?
Yeah.
So we were both fashion majors. So we went to school. We are so close because we literally went to class together. Our entire college career.
Yeah.
And I was late for all of them, and she was a goody two shoes.
Of course.
And
of course.
her projects were always displayed. But anyway, so
you weren't annoyed at all.
But then I got behind a couple semesters. I got behind a semester.
And to be fair, she works in fashion.
She does, yes,
Yes.
she does, yes.
Rocks it.
Yes,
So,
Yes.
she's amazing.
her goody
yes.
two-shoe side paid off. And it wasn't a lack of effort from Blake.
No, she was just amazing. Yes.
Essentially, she was on time and you just weren't.
100%. And I was just always on point, you know.
Yes, absolutely.
So, where am I at right now?
You're talking start of your career. So
Yes.
you knew senior year choreography was the job, the
yes.
move. Even though fashion was the focus.
Yes, and everything just kind of fell into place to where now Kevin and I, my longtime partner at the time.
Because you guys met in college.
Yeah, we
he's a
dated all the way through college.
Okay.
Yeah, he was on the equestrian team. Yeah, and all he knew for me is me being gone for the summer, right? So
Sure, yeah.
That's all he knew. Like, oh, I leave and go do cheerleading for 3 months and then come back and I'm with him doing cheerleading more in Lexington. So we decided we wanted to move it to Chicago.
Yeah.
Well, he got a job in Chicago. Now, because of my connections with Camp Jeff and all of those programs, now I have these contracts with these programs where I'm going up and I'm doing all of their things. So when I'm not on the road, I'm now working with all these Chicago
So you
teams.
got like a local gig and everything.
And then I'm now on the road full time with, V-Rock during high school routines. And then, built in there was, some of my all-star work. And now from there, it kind of took off and became my career now. But
That's
it was
awesome.
all very organic. It was nothing
Yeah.
was ever forced. It wasn't a forced thing. I wasn't something I was seeking out. It was I felt if you're religious, I felt like it was a calling and this was my gift that I was giving, and it was for me to share.
And isn't it funny you didn't see it for so long?
No, it wasn't something that I thought that it was going to be.
And it's interesting too, you
Yeah.
weren't trying to run from it. You weren't
Yeah.
it's not like you moved to New York and you were like, we're trying to do fashion and cheerleading kept pulling you away. You were just like, yeah, I'm going to do cheerleading because you've always loved cheerleading.
Yeah, just kind of.
That's such a cool story.
And I just felt like
And you're so good at it.
So
You're so damn good
I
at it.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
You really are.
But one of my biggest reasons of, like, I had an experience with a choreographer and I really didn't like it when I was an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
And then also the way, like, athletes are scared of choreography. And I always wanted, like, my experience to be a life-changing experience for the athlete. So, like, if I can help build a culture, if I can help, I wanted choreography for me was a time for me to be able to be a coach and instill things because I wasn't coaching at the time.
Yeah.
Instill, things to the athletes and like, and I wanted to give them the experience.
Yeah.
Someone might be a better choreographer, someone might be more creative, more innovative, but they will never give the experience.
Or this team's not even that talented to where they're going to be super elite, but you're going to give
experience that I'm going to give. You will leave feeling like you're
like you're going to go win.
Like you're the best team in the world.
Totally.
I know that's how you made our kids feel.
Because
when I was in Memphis and I was coaching at Briarcrest, we had Josh that first year and he got super busy. And so he was like, yeah, Blake came and like did your guys' dance and he absolutely loved your kids. So he'll come back and do your, more choreography or whatever. And I was like, oh my gosh, wonderful. They had never felt more valued as people and as cheerleaders as when they worked with you. And we had a bunch of different, we lived in Memphis, we had a bunch of different people in and out of practice helping with things, and I will never forget the impression you put on them. And then also as me as a coach, because I think as coaches you can just get very much in this like tunnel vision of like yell, do, and then you can get very lost in
the processes.
Yeah, and am I giving these kids the value that they deserve?
And just skill development, and that's the only value because you're just looking at skill development only.
Yes, you have to remember it's such a full package.
But I'm with you there on like, kids shouldn't be afraid of the choreographer. No. Like a choreographer may be intense, they might push you, but like they want to build you a great routine.
100%.
They want you to be quiet while they're talking, but the fear has always just been funny to me because like Leighton was our choreographer and a bunch of people were like, oh, Leighton's so scary, and I was like, isn't he here to help us?
Right.
Like, he's flying from Florida.
Right.
And we're paying him.
Right.
Like, and you guys are afraid of him? Right. Like, sure, he came and he was telling us where to go, and, Leighton's brain moves way faster than his mouth.
Yes,
so
100%.
Not you. Go over here, go over here, go on
6,
5.
7, 8.
What am I doing on 5? Go over there and do it. Okay. Okay. I get the intimidation, but it's like, no, like, that person, your choreographer wants to help you and, like, uplift you and get you to your goals.
Yeah, and it's just like any other form of art. Like, you can't do it in a negative space.
Yes.
Or any type of learning.
Oh,
So we're sitting
wow.
here, we're developing you. This is your blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
So how are we going to develop an effective blueprint if you're not in a positive mind or in a mind of a state of learning?
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's just important to make sure.
I think that's, I'm sorry to cut you off. I think that is what you just said, though, is a great reflection of how you live your life, but also how you do choreography, because you are just a positive force. Like Lauren mentioned, you're always putting dances up on TikTok because you just love to dance. You love the art of dancing, of moving your body, being a creator with it. So I guess, and obviously you're one of the most positive people I know, and I love you for that. But I guess, where do you get your internal positivity that just shines, that you
because you radiate it?
Yeah, like you like.
Can I turn my phone off?
Yeah, you know.
I can be completely open and honest, right?
Yeah.
I developed being the youngest of 4 boys, you know, Southern family, black family, deep South Alabama. I think being a cheerleader, knowing that I was different my entire life, knowing not being able to read very well. I had a learning disability growing up, learned sight reading, not phonics. That's why my pronunciation of things are, you know, sometimes wrong. And I think during that time, everyone where I was from in my community, I was just Blake Johnson. Mm-hmm. So Blake Johnson was this guy that was just like positive, this, that, whatnot. And then, you know, like, you know, deep inside, I was just like, you know, I'm different. But then Blake Johnson was able to be 100% himself.
You're authentic.
And no one cared that I was different. So then I truly bought into Blake Johnson. And because, you know, when people would ask, oh, he's a cheerleader. I was like, no, that's Blake Johnson. Like, it was never that label that everyone, because all these guys I played football with my entire life, they kind of like gave me that like respect because they knew what type of athlete I was. Yeah. So they were like, no, that's Blake Johnson. So it was
sports,
like Blake Johnson,
great leveler.
100%.
Always.
I think sports and music.
Yes.
Yeah.
Will put the world on there. You know, on the same.
Exactly.
Yeah. But so I think that is something that just positive energy is just when I became that person, or I bought into being that person, no one cared about anything else about me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because the way I made them feel, nothing else really mattered. Mm-hmm. And I think that is where, and my parents are happy people. They're givers.
Sounds like they're super supportive of like all of you and your brothers, like
100% God fearing
and everything.
And just it's and that's all I saw. Like, again, you know, they're just givers, and you know, who wants to sit around and be miserable?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, why would we want to do that? Mm-hmm. And I truly love what I do.
Yeah.
I 100% truly love what I do, and it's all about, in my mind, it's all about being effective. And you have to be effective. You have to have a certain mindset to be effective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I love that you're your authentic self.
Yeah, me too.
That phrase, though, sticks with me because the company that I started working for in November, a tech startup, you know, we're going through the cheer season, and they knew I was a cheer coach, you know, part-time, and they love that because they want employees to be involved in the community and stuff. And so I think I was talking to one of the HR gals about lining stuff up, like PTO and like taking time off, and I was like, taking it off for cheerleading, you know, like that's what I do for vacation. Like, I don't know what everybody else does, but like when I use my days off, and she was like,
yeah, we don't go on vacation.
And she
go to cheerleading.
She just was like, that's fine.
Yeah.
She's like, I love that. And I was like, what? Like, you love that I'm missing work? And she's like, yeah, that's why we hired you. We want you to be your authentic self.
Love
it. And I was like, and at first I was like, oh, okay, you're the head of HR. Like, I appreciate that statement.
Yeah.
But then this week, now that it's Pride Month, our CEO, who's 28, sent us an incredible message just about we want diversity, we want everyone's opinion is welcome at the table, because when everyone can bring their authentic self to the workplace, we all are successful. We're
100%.
all at our best. We're all our most creative. And I just I showed it to Lauren and I was like, I love this job. Like, I know some days I'm like grunting and groaning about it, but like, you can't hate this because that's like, that, you know, and he texted it. It was like in like the group Slack. It's not like he wrote an email and had the comms team check it. Like, and it's like, okay, you wrote this. Like, you care. So, being your authentic self truly is special. You know, it's
a big piece of being happy.
Positivity.
Yeah.
And it changes the aura. It changes everyone around you.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. I'm sure you feel as if you've never worked a day in your life due to a lot of it.
Yeah. But I feel like I worked a lot, though.
That's fair. That is totally fair.
Those long flights sometimes.
Right. And I sleep on flights. Now, even when I get on a flight, I can't even take off without falling asleep. Because that is what my body says you're resting.
This is when you're going to rest.
Are you a table sleeper? You're one aisle? Are you just straight back? Okay.
So you're a beautiful sleeper.
I can sleep anywhere.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
He cannot.
You mentioned like your career with choreography and everything wasn't necessarily like you weren't like applying for jobs and like doing anything like that. So I'm guessing the opportunity with USA Cheer came about the same way due to your experience with Allie, with Tony, with some of those brilliant minds of cheerleading, and obviously you're one of those people, so of course they brought you along for the awesome journey. So I guess of the how many years have you been doing USA? Is it like 4 or 5 now?
2016.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, the best year
2016
with the fake ending.
Yes, from 2016.
Iconic.
Yeah.
We'll never forget it. You posted it on TikTok like a while ago, not that long ago, but when it re-popped up, I was like, I had chills from that routine.
Yeah. So I've been with USA Cheer since 2015.
So 6 years. Gotcha. Was it just such a bummer for this past year because you guys did tryouts?
Yeah.
And it was like the world shut down a month later.
I'm now I'm one of the directors of the USA Junior program. So that's one of my roles that I kind of came along with.
Recently has been an Illinois team
on
the co-ed side. And I was just getting done with the junior all-girl and co-ed routines those weekends. I was actually in Chicago when the world shut down, finishing up junior co-ed, and we actually had them go full out one time just so they can say they did the routine just in case Worlds didn't happen. It was on that Sunday that everything like shut down, or Chicago shut down. But yeah, so it was a bummer last year. It was a big bummer. Another connection of cheerleading and COVID. So I do choreography with my best friend David Lingling in New Zealand. And we go in January to New Zealand. So this year, that in 2020, January 2020, we would go to New Zealand to do choreography, and we work with our programs. And then after that, the host that we go to work for New Zealand, she's from Tonga. Okay.
So we go to the Kingdom of Tonga. So while we're in New Zealand, in January, they're talking about COVID-19 or this virus, because all of that time in January is summer in New Zealand, so all of the kids, it's end of summer.
So kids go back to school.
Yes, so everyone that went to China for study abroad, to study abroad, they weren't letting them back into the country unless they quarantine and all of these things. We're like, what are y'all talking about? This is January. And then we go to the Kingdom of Tonga. As we get off the plane, these people have on white suits, like what do they call them?
The hazmat suits,
And they ask if you're traveling from China, come over here. If you're coming from New Zealand or Australia, come over here. We're like, what are they talking about? Still not understanding. We also had these misters as we got off the plane.
Wow, so
didn't know they were sanitizing us, but there was these misters when we got off the plane. Also, this is January 2020.
And it's interesting still, like they were going through all these procedures, but like they were separating people that were all on the same
Yeah,
plane. But
right.
it was like...
Because no one knew, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody knew.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then we come back to
And then
America,
just watch
leave
it unfold.
a normal life, because we're like, what are they talking about over there, right? I didn't even tell anyone. I remember me and David, we didn't even talk about it.
Because it was just like, whatever.
Until it became a thing, and we're like, you remember? He was like, yes.
That
I was
was
like,
crazy.
Imagine if we would have like started talking about it like right when we got back.
Wild
I mean,
story.
COVID did a lot of damage.
Yeah.
It did.
The this year of cheerleading, like we saw this week at camp, is just going to be so magical. Just everyone is so glad to be back
And
doing
100%
things
focused. It is
like
just
laser.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I do think camp this year, and maybe because it was like the perfect size, the perfect amount of teams, like love the like everything was just so good. But I'm like, I think we're just extra thankful because we never thought it would get taken away.
100%.
Because I know that we have left camp sometimes and we're like, this is terrible,
Complaint,
this is
yep.
annoying, this could be better,
Yeah,
this could be
change
that.
highs and lows.
Yeah.
And then to have all of it taken away, not just a month,
Yeah.
not just 2 months, like so much taken away for us to just like go back, like, man, were we
Felt
happy.
good, right?
It felt great. It felt really great. So I hope this whole season for everyone just feels good to be back and we can be grateful again. Because, man, did we not know it was going to be taken away in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that's so true. Would you like to do your TikTok questions?
I do just like, yeah. Okay, so you're big into choreography. You're obviously amazing at choreography. And then we come out of this, well, we go into this pandemic and everybody's like, what's TikTok?
Right.
So you started your TikTok that Christmas before, I believe.
I did.
So with me doing my research, because I think you're phenomenal on TikTok, and I will absolutely not post a video except for like maybe like me reciting some Bring It On words or something. But
her drafts,
Yeah.
she'd be dancing.
She has a lot of drafts.
Yeah, she'd be
I
dancing.
would love to go to that draft.
you're not touching my phone. But so with you starting your TikTok then, like right before the pandemic, I know during the pandemic you really like dove into your
I mean,
TikTok.
we're all stuck at home.
Yeah, we're not doing it. Yeah.
So I kind of want to hear about your TikTok, and I kind of want to hear about like, does watching TikTok inspire you for choreography?
Yes.
And like things like that. So like, take the floor. Tell me everything.
If you can connect with the kids,
They buy in.
yes, they will. And then the coach then will be like, all right, well, like, I gotta bring it back, or I gotta, you know,
Yeah.
like, if
So
you
true.
can buy in. So I like to say youthful and know all the trends and be, you know, popular amongst, you know, the
Good
youth
for you,
or
because
whatnot.
Gen Z is scary.
Aren't they?
Yeah,
I think they're very special, though.
They are.
They have a very special place in my heart, just because they're living in a different world, and I think it's really cool.
I
But
agree.
They've been in tech.
yes,
They were born
it is. It's so cool,
into
right?
technology, yeah.
We do love
And
that.
who you can do whoever you can be whoever you want at such a young age, like, and you can connect with people all
You
over
can
the
be
world.
your authentic self and connect with other
at
people
such
like
a young
you.
age,
Yes.
and you don't need your high school
Nope.
or your hometown. You can connect with people all over. It's very special. So
That's
back
beautiful.
to
Yeah.
That's why I love the internet.
Yeah.
But yes.
so during not being able to do choreography, I was lost. I think what we were saying about having something taken away from us. So then I did a TikTok. I like duetted someone, or David, I think my best friend, I like did a duet with him. Then I'm like, oh wait, I kind of like this TikTok thing. And then I started watching all the TikToks, and then so I wanted to now know them all because the kids knew them.
Yeah.
So that's how it really like started to get on TikTok, because I wanted to know when I went to choreography what the kids were doing. All of a sudden, I do a super sharp TikTok, and I
Cheer
hashtag
style, yeah.
cheer, and now I have this, like, all these people are now following me for cheerleading content, or, you know, like, I'm like, wait a minute,
That
like,
algorithm.
yeah, you know, like, wait a minute. So then it came, I literally would do a TikTok a day. Kevin pushed me into the garage. So if you watch my TikTok,
I noticed that.
It started when I was upstairs in like the, you know, the living area.
Your wonderful Christmas decorations.
Yes.
You may not have gone into interior design professionally, but you would have gone into interior
Can we
design.
talk about the triple tree?
The triple tree.
It's everything of the sort.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
so welcome.
You know, really-
I can't believe I haven't said anything before,
Yeah,
but like,
yeah.
if you don't know what the triple tree is, like, do your research.
Yeah. Christmas is my favorite time of the year,
Yes.
and it is. And I go all out. I love. Anyways, so then I would work out and do a TikTok. Like, that is what I did every single day, and it gave me, like, purpose.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like I had, like,
A task.
something, yes. And I just wasn't sitting there. Now, I use TikTok for inspiration. It's like, I could just get on TikTok and just, like, watch amazing, like, dancers and style. And, like, now I can take a
new
personal...
music, too,
yes.
like remixes and different things.
And it's like I'm taking a personal class with this professional dancer.
Yeah.
Like, where now, like, my mind is exploring. I'm exploring different things with my body, different movements, different patterns, different, styles. Yeah. I love TikTok. I think it's one of the best apps out there. And that's the reason why I stay on it. I need to do more. I need to get back more active. But during COVID, it was I would say a saving grace for my peace of mind.
Wow. Very
like,
cool.
I would put that much credit to
being able to create.
Yes,
still.
to create.
Yeah, to channel it.
And connect. Connect with people. Talk.
Yeah, where normally you would go to a team, connect with them, be creative with them. So you had to channel that.
Totally. Well, and with that being said, this episode is brought to you by TikTok.
Oh,
we're actually sponsored. Just kidding.
It's actually brought to you by Support Fund.
It is.
Support Fund.
So it's like Snap Raise or whatever.
Okay. Come on, support.
Right.
Yeah.
Or GoFundMe, or all those.
Yeah.
It's normal money fundraising, but they give the option to buy chocolate.
Oh, okay.
So when the kids are sending texts, caramels.
There's a chocolate flavor caramel though.
That's what it is.
Sounds great.
So when the kids are sending texts and emails asking for donations, if somebody's like, I don't want to just give you $10, they can buy chocolate, and then they can. So it gives the kids that option to some people who do want to buy stuff and get something for supporting, and some people are like, I'm totally fine just donating $20. So we've used them twice, and it's been wonderful. So
it was honestly our
how easy was it? Was the process easy?
Unbelievably easy, and the reason it is such a big deal, especially during a COVID year where you can't go door to door and sell like popcorn or something.
Right.
It's fully digital. We show a video of him. The kids get out their phone. They text some things, and then it all goes through a website, and you don't have to go face to face.
Tracking of
we have tracking of everything, and so like if the kids are like, "Yeah, coach, I sent my 5 text messages," I can get on the little thing, and I'm like,
liar.
No, you didn't.
You only sent 2.
Yeah.
Any more TikTok talk?
TikTok talk.
I just love going back to your time in Kentucky. I loved the one your throwback that you put in. You're like,
right.
It may have been center.
That was me.
Because if I'm posting a video, it's probably the year where I was center.
Right.
So I get that completely.
Right.
That was just like really cool for me to watch, and like I did like try to learn some dances.
Yeah.
I'd like don't look at my drafts, but like it is really cool to watch like from afar. Like you do all that. More so with the TikToks, I like seeing your choreography side. So like dying laughing when I pulled up the TikTok where you're like typical choreography, and then you just scream at the Shelby, and it is so funny to me because
it's so me.
Well, it's so you. It's so choreography. It's so just like it is just so you. But I love that so much because I'm like, that was authentically Blake. Like, everything is good. Shelby! You did the thing! Like, I felt like I was there in that moment. And it was wonderful. It's just wonderful. It's funny because we've been in a million choreography sessions, and there's always a Shelby. Poor Shelby.
Always the Shelby. Always the Shelby.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually still do her choreography now to this day.
Oh, that's awesome. Wait, okay, so pull up his TikTok page.
This is the Shelby video.
Oh, that's... So go to his page because I feel like a couple favorites. That was definitely a recent favorite. Obviously the 2016 fade out. Oh, you and Amber.
Yes.
So Amber's been on the show.
Yes.
Big fans.
And we bonded. We actually bonded over COVID and through TikTok.
I found the 3 trees.
You found the triple tree.
Oh, the triple tree.
Look at her.
If we had 3 trees and she asked me to set them up, like I have to set up the 1 tree,
Does Kevin have to set these up?
He doesn't really help me.
Okay. I mean, that's probably fair.
He helps to take down, though.
Okay,
He enjoys.
He's
Yes.
like, finally.
right.
Put it
Get
away.
the glitter away.
Yeah, but yeah, like watching...
Body, but you labeled it the cheer version.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of my biggest...
modified.
Yeah, one of my biggest one was the WAP The cheer version of the
Yes,
mom.
yes, I remember that.
And that was like,
Look at you.
So sharp.
Like, so sharp. And I feel like that has to be so good for you to be watching yourself and like you're editing and you're doing all the things. You're getting sharper.
yeah.
Because you're watching yourself doing it all the time.
Yes.
That's amazing.
So, shifting gears
All right.
away from the epic story of Blake so far. But breaking news happened this week related to
Bum, bum, bum.
related to a cheerleader, or I guess cheer tryouts. The more importantly than just the headline of it being a cheerleader and involving a cheerleader, the ramifications for public school coaches of any sport, but more so cheerleaders, is now kind of upended and
Wait, what?
in a crazy way. So, the Supreme Court this week decided that a student's free speech is protected online outside of school hours if the classroom is not disrupted. So how this came about, 3 or so years ago, a girl...
Wait. Can you say that again?
Yeah, so the Supreme Court decided that a school cannot, a public school cannot
The
restrict,
Supreme Court of the United States of America.
the highest court in the land,
Okay.
decided that a public school student's free speech online, outside of school hours, cannot be inhibited. Like, it's their free speech.
Yes.
It's their right, as long as it doesn't disrupt the classroom. And so it was defended. So what that decision broadly about public schools and students comes back to the original case where 3 years ago, a girl who was going into her junior year of high school in Pennsylvania, she made the JV team.
Okay.
And she did not like that result.
Okay.
So she went home on her Snapchat and posted, I believe, a middle finger on her Snapchat story, and the caption said, in full form, F cheer, F the school, and F the coach.
Oh, okay. She's really angry.
Yes, she's very angry. And school policy related to social media, related to school stuff, was that, you could get in trouble for such things. Cheer policy, she was still on the team.
Oh, she was a cheerleader.
Yeah, so she was a cheerleader. She made JV.
Got it, yeah.
So she didn't decline the position, so she's on the team, and she still posted that. So it gets screenshotted. She eventually takes it down because she realizes, I'm probably going to get in trouble. She does get in trouble. She gets dismissed from the team. I believe she got suspended for a certain time period. Her and her parents are not happy about this, so they go to the school and they complain, and they're like, nuh-uh, this isn't allowed. Like, you can't be, punishing her for this. And the school's like, here's our contract about behavior, and here's the team contract where she's representing. And the parents were like, no. So they went to the district back to the school, and the coach is up, and they said, yeah, the policy's there. So the parents and the daughter said, we're suing you.
Right.
So it went to local court. That judge agreed. And they said, yeah, and so they appealed that. The next level up, that
agreed with
the school and the district.
Got it.
The next level up didn't agree with him and said, that might be a little too much, full booting, suspended from school. So how about, so they gave a plan of, she's off the team for a year. She can't be on the team. Essentially suspended from cheer for a year, and then she can try out the next year. And then, so that was the agreement, but the parents and her did not agree with that.
They weren't happy still.
Yeah, so they went forth and did that. She didn't cheer her junior year. She tried out again for her senior year, made varsity, continued on. Like, she's like 20 now.
Got it.
But ACLU picked up her case at that point, and we're like, no, we're going to fight for your free speech to be able to write whatever you want on your social media. Me, as someone who does value my rights of free speech and my rights in general, I definitely understand that and lean towards that, but as a coach and as a parent, free speech doesn't come without consequences. Like
100%.
So ACLU gets involved. Let me go back to the story. ACLU gets involved. They take it, appeal. It goes to Pennsylvania Supreme Court. It goes to the Supreme Court. So the whole thing of online after hours is new. So that was why they took the case on, because it had to kind of set some sort of semblance. And a lot of schools and administrators for years have been looking for some sort of legal precedent to say, we can punish, we can't punish, because, the kids are doing it outside of school. Why should a principal be able to be like, you were acting inappropriate. Well, great. That's my parents' responsibility, not yours.
100%.
So I see essentially this upends any team contract. Mm-hmm. So if you have a team social media contract that says you can't talk bad about the program, you can't be posting inappropriate things representing the team poorly, the coaches can't do anything about it anymore.
Wow.
Unless
is that what does it say that?
So unless it fully disrupts the classroom.
Okay.
But being that athletics doesn't touch the classroom,
right.
It's pretty much not.
I'm all for free speech. I'm all for expressing yourself.
Absolutely.
But you made a choice to represent me.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is the difference.
And athletics is a privilege.
Yes. You didn't choose to go to this high school. You have to go to school. You have to, you just can't go through life without an education, right?
Yes.
You can go through life without being a part of an organization.
Right.
You can go through life without being on a team. You can go. Yes. You don't have to do these things. That's a choice. Mm-hmm. So now, if you're choosing to be a part of this, there should be some boundaries or some guidelines.
Totally agree.
Because if not, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why
they're also children.
Yeah. So at some point we have to have some type of boundaries.
Isn't that wild though?
Yeah. So it's
We're in a bit of a
so
pickle.
crazy because it's like that's the
Is that
Supreme
real?
Court. My take on it is I'm like. We all have free speech, but we all don't have free speech without consequences.
Yes.
And in my opinion, the school did not put that girl in jail.
No.
They did not limit her freedoms
No.
as a person, as an American. They only limited, like you said, the choices she could make, the things she could do. And the frustrating part of this is
you have consequences.
It's our opinions don't matter because the Supreme Court decided this and it's not going anywhere. But it's we can still talk about it because it's bizarro. Like you said, is this real?
I think it should be talked about though. Because
it should be.
As people who are coaches and we don't just care about these kids for the one season that they're in. We care about these kids for the long term.
Justice Breyer said, "It might be tempting to dismiss the student's words as unworthy of the robust First Amendment protections, but sometimes it's necessary to protect the superfluous in order to preserve the necessary." So, more simply put, students do not shed their constitutional rights to freedom of speech or expression even at the schoolhouse gate. But we also have made clear that courts must apply the First Amendment in light of the special characteristics of the school environment, i.e. online, sports teams, things like that. So it's really an interesting situation for all of us.
What if your team is like a club, part of the school though? What if it's like a club within the school? Mm-hmm. So now this isn't something that was required for the school to give, or it's not funded, quote unquote, by the school.
Yeah.
It's self-funded by a booster.
Mm-hmm. So I think it'd probably come down to maybe you could do the club side policy, but you think the school couldn't do anything about it type of thing. I think a lot of school district legal teams have a fun summer ahead for themselves for what they're going to give their admin, just trickle down to teachers and coaches of what is allowed, what's not allowed, how far can you go with team policies, things like that.
I'm even thinking about just SGA and other organizations. How are you going to be the class president, but yet you're posting inappropriate things on your social media about the school, or thinking about Key Club, or thinking about the National Honor Society? All of that is still a part of the school system.
Mm-hmm. And it's part of their future. So it's where's the help for these kids? That's my issue, is these kids are being let down. It's just a bummer. So there's 9 Supreme Court justices, and the vote was 8-1 on it. So 8 of them agreed, but the one guy, Justice Clarence Thomas,
Clarence.
Yeah, Clarence.
Oh, good old Clarence.
Right?
Hey.
The dissenting side also has to release, their dissent. So he said,
oh goodness.
He wrote, "Students like the former cheerleader who are active in extracurricular programs have a greater potential by virtue of their participation to harm such programs." He said, for example, a profanity-laced screed delivered on social media or at the mall has a much different effect on a football program when done by a regular student than when done by the captain of the football team. So too here, he says. So it's I'm with the dissent of when you're on the team, you're more amplified. When you're doing participating things, you're more amplified. So your words have a greater power to disrupt
100%.
to where we should be able to have those restrictions in place for kids.
So we stand with Clarence.
Yeah.
We stand with Clarence. But
Good old Clarence.
unfortunately,
No,
But
it is
the other eight did not.
That is a problem. Oh, this is just so tricky.
When do you think this information is going to be sent out? If you had to guesstimate, this happened this week? Yeah,
happened 2 days ago.
2 days ago. If you were to just let's just guess, like we're still dealing with COVID. We're still trying to get back into school full time. We're still trying to have sports teams in some states. Like, when do you think like this is going to happen?
Right. I mean, so that's the crazy thing is it's legal now.
Yeah.
So like think back to like when the Supreme Court upheld gay marriage rights.
Right.
That was the day. That was
yeah.
the day. From there on, it can't be challenged anymore. Same thing here.
But we talked about it.
What do you mean?
But like everyone knew. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like there was
everyone knew about it.
Yeah.
Like this is like a
That's
case.
obviously much bigger.
Yeah, like this is. But this is it? It is bigger. But we're
That's
talking
much
about
More people were invested in that.
We're talking about the future of millions of lives.
Yes.
Just like so, I'm not gonna. This is huge.
It
This
really is.
This is major.
That's why I tweeted it
news.
because I was like, not many people are, and 2 days later, not many people interacted with the tweet because I think anytime you see Supreme Court and First Amendment, I think everybody kind of is like, I want
to stay away from it.
I don't understand it.
Well, I told him on our drive home from camp today, I said, I don't know that I really want to talk about it on the podcast because now all of our kids that listen are going to be like, oh, so we can do whatever we want on social media.
No, you can't.
And I'm like, there just has to be such an education piece to this of like, you have to value you.
Right.
And your appearance.
Yes,
your
in your platform of whatever you decide to put yourself out on.
So like,
Yes.
I mean, it's wrong. I know we voted y'all into office, and I appreciate you, and I think you have done some wonderful work. But you got it wrong this time. Okay, can we get a revote?
We can't get a revote.
Right.
So do you think that this is only going to be for public schools? So like any school protected under like religious rights or like so Catholic school systems,
they can keep
schools
having
are
their
going to
contracts.
all of that. But this is really just like public school systems that are going to be truly affected.
Yeah. Like we're saying, it's going to be an interesting summer if you're like the legal team for a district because they're probably scrambling to see what they can do and what they can't do and
and just educating your coaches too, just making sure that
all the staff, principals too, just so that random suspensions aren't being handed out. That
You might want to add this
court.
to your coaches' meetings.
right.
Just
Right.
little tidbit here.
Let
Good
them know.
luck. Godspeed.
Just so
Like-
that everyone knows. I feel like I'm like like on a show or something.
Our bio says this is cheerleading's best talk show. Like,
It is.
I
Hello.
like that we're a talk show. Like obviously it's on podcast.
Oh,
but it's
I am on a show. I'm on a talk show.
Yeah.
Oh, hey. Oh, can I say hell? Oh,
You can say whatever you want.
Sometimes I add beats, sometimes I don't. I don't know where the censoring lies.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because like we push it more for like coaches and adults.
Right.
There are a bunch of athletes, like specifically ours, that listen. Well, we're just so glad you're able to come.
Oh God. Oh no.
Yeah, this was a long time coming. I know we've
Yes, but even like just on Twitter, you offering just being like, hey, I think I want to be on the podcast. What the hell? I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to attack you now because you have to come on the show.
I was waiting. I was like,
I can't wait till round 2 because like we had so much to talk about. I don't even think we touched on a third of the things that we could have touched on.
Mm-hmm.
So you're coming back.
I would love to come back.
You're absolutely coming back.
Final question: what cheerleading event are you most excited for in this coming season?
In this coming season, what cheerleading event am I most excited for? I hope that ICU 2022 happens because I feel we as Americans get really caught up with just cheerleading as a sport because it's our sport. But this is a global sport and is growing all over the world. And I want it to be back on that global stage. Like I want to see how the rest of the countries like handled the pandemic and what
yeah.
cheerleading means to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to be displayed heavily at ICU this year.
I would agree.
Awesome.
And I always love ICU Worlds. Like, it's just such a great weekend of cheer community. Like,
Yeah.
I don't speak foreign languages.
Yeah.
But I speak cheerleading.
100%.
And,
Right.
and I'm gonna say that was awesome.
Right.
And clear English, and whether they're Japanese, Chinese, German,
Yeah.
they're gonna be like, thanks.
Yeah.
Because they can tell my excitement about the skill
100%.
they just did. So I
Absolutely.
always love that event.
That's a good answer.
Also, news I read, I think it was yesterday, related to international.
Yeah.
Cheer Match is a virtual
Yes, I
online
know, yeah.
competition.
Great.
They just partnered with IASF
Really?
to kind of assist for the next season, because most of those international teams were locked down.
Right.
They didn't have the ability to get in their gyms and stuff. So I think that's a brilliant move to kind of get them back into competition mindset.
Yeah.
I think that is going to, kind of backfill that,
Right.
to have a great ICU Worlds, because all these competitors are now going to get kind of an elongated season thanks to
Right.
Cheer Match. Well, Blake, thank
Yes.
you for coming on the Mark Thru.
Yeah.
This has been
Come
awesome.
on, the Mark
I was saying,
Thru.
do you have anything to promote, to push, to hype up, to celebrate while
Yeah, the
you're on
red
here?
carpet is rolled out
the
for you.
microphone is yours.
Oh, wow. To promote.
You don't have to promote anything. You can just celebrate you.
Yes,
celebrate
okay.
anything you want.
I would like to say to the world that each one of you are, you're special, you're beautiful, and you're unique. And I hope that everyone has the opportunity one day in this lifetime to truly live a life that they love, and to wake up every day and know that they have a purpose in the world. So if I could push that energy out to the world, that's what I want to do right now on the Mark Thru.
Turn the volume up on that.
That was beautiful.
Links in the bio.
Yes,
Sir,
yes.
sir.
You ready for this? Who live is us? Who lit is this? Who real is us? We too legit. We are M-A-R-K-T-H-R-U. Mark Thru Podcast. Listen and learn, watch and observe. Challenging us, they got some nerve. We great. You mad? Don't hate. Get to it. Don't wait. We do not hesitate. We doing what it takes. What we do. Mark Thru.